This episode is brought to you by Fox One. Watch all 104 matches of the FIFA World Cup live in 4K for just $19.99 a month with 3 days free. Build your own multi-view, choose up to 3 streams, and follow player spotlights. Stay on top of every moment with live stats, highlights, and instant replays. The FIFA World Cup, streaming live on Fox One. Offers are subject to change. See fox.com for complete terms and conditions.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi. Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Everybody is watching to see what's going to happen in these primaries tomorrow night. There's a couple big ones. If you look at the roster, you've got Georgia and a couple other hot spots. And one of the biggies that a lot of people are talking about is in D.C., and that is because the mayoral candidate there is sort of like a mini Mondani in New York, like a lot of people are describing. And President Trump has already said if this person wins, and her name is Janice Louis George, he's like, we might just have to take over D.C. So tomorrow night is the big primary night. You know, we always call it here. It seems like the news breaks on this show. So you definitely got to tune into the show because we always have all the breaking news on the primaries. And tomorrow is Alabama. There's a House special race in California. The D.C. mayor, as I mentioned. Georgia, as I mentioned. The Senate runoff there is interesting. There's a candidate endorsed by Trump, and then there's another one endorsed by Brian Kemp. And then you got Oklahoma, which is also a biggie, too, because the governor there is term limited, Kevin Stitt, who we've had here on the show. So lots of big developments. But let's go to D.C., the nation's capital, which is definitely cleaned up quite a bit. And here is Councilwoman Janice Louis George. And listen to her. No wonder President Trump says we may need to take over D.C. This woman seems to say it should be a free-for-all there. Listen to this.
As an executive, you have to decide which tools you use and when you use them. And right now, using the curfew as a tool for our young people is dangerous. It is dangerous because we have federal troops who are in our city, mass ICE agents who are in our city.
Masked ICE agents who are in our city. It's like this whole attack on law enforcement, and it's like they get their talking points. And can you imagine, how is President Trump going to feel like he could have the ICE agents there? How is President Trump going to feel like when they have had all these teen takeovers, remember, that have taken place in the nation's capital? And then you've got this woman saying there shouldn't be a curfew. There's not a curfew essentially for ICE. So there shouldn't be a curfew for these young folks who are wreaking havoc on the streets there in D.C. You can't make it up, but that is her view. And then let's go to New York, because a week from tomorrow is the big primary in New York. And you've got, a fairly moderate, Democrat that's been there. He's an incumbent, Adriano Espaillat, and he is head of the Hispanic caucus there on the Democratic side. He's a more moderate, reasonable Democrat, if you will. He votes with he's voted with President Biden and the Democratic Party 100% of the time. So it shouldn't really be a problem for the Democrats. But it's a problem for the new breed of Democrats, the Democratic Socialists of America, of which Mondani's a part of which you got a lot of folks. You got the guy in Philly there, of course, who's a part of it. You've got Seattle mayor, of course, who's a part of all this. You've got Abdul Al-Sayed, remember, who is running in Michigan. You've got Adam Hamaway, who's in New Jersey. So they're dotting the country all over the place. And here is Daraliza Avila Chevalier, and she is a very proud Democratic socialist. And here she is, not that long ago. She was at a Palestinian rally. And actually, this one's right after October 7th. This is on October 8th, all right? So remember the timing of it. We know what happened on October 7th. This is her on October 8th, and I want to play this one first because it just shows the mindset of this individual who now, of course, has the endorsement of New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani.
Who is the terrorist? Who is the terrorist? The United States of America. We feel the Palestinian blood. We feel the Palestinian blood. colonialism! And U.S. imperialism!
I have to say, I went to Wikipedia this morning to look at the map of where the resistance is, and as of at least this morning...
And it looks like she had a nice little crowd there around her. Not so nice. Nice in size, not so nice in rhetoric. I mean, does that sound like somebody who should be in Congress? And they don't feel, the Democratic Socialists, that Adriano Espaillat is far enough to the left. And if you're not with these extreme radicals, then you're against them. And in fact, over the weekend, there was quite a battle between Graham Plattner and John Fetterman, because Plattner in Maine, who of course is the candidate, the guy with the Nazi tattoo, who says he didn't know anything about it. Well, that guy is now going after John Fetterman because John Fetterman is saying he doesn't believe Graham Plattner, nor do I, for that matter. So you look at all of these features and you go, boy, where are these candidates coming from? This is not your mom or your grandmother's Democratic Party, that is for sure. And here's a little bit of Zoran Mandani, because he was asked after a whole bunch of really nasty tweets that came out from the Chevalier in New York, again, the Democratic Socialist candidate that he's endorsed, and he defended her. I mean, it's sort of similar comments after all that stuff after his wife made those terrible comments. And here he is defending this candidate.
I had not seen those tweets, and what I've heard from her, and what I know a lot of others in the district have heard from her, is that her views have evolved and that the campaign that she's running on is reflective of what she's going to be fighting for.
Chevalier claims she's grown considerably since her tweets. Meanwhile, she admits to showing up to an anti-Israel rally the day after the October 7 terrorist attacks, organizing anti-Israel Columbia University protests, and recently campaigned at a mosque led by a sheikh who praised the October 7th Hamas attack.
I mean, you can't make this up. You've got her, condoning the behavior of these horrible individuals. You've got her praising these individuals. And yet there are people out there saying, oh, that's the person that I want. And I want to play this again. This is another comment. This is from the candidate. This is Chevalier in New York. And she gets called out for some of her past comments. And here's her response.
Ms. Chevalier, he was starting to raise your past posts, and there's been some reporting about past social media posts. The caller who we had on a few minutes ago brought up one of them as well. According to CNN, for example, during a 3-day period in September 2021, you reposted now deleted messages declaring, yes, literally abolish the border, and that all deportation is wrong. And the one the caller referenced, F, using the full word, Kamala Harris, after she told Guatemalans not to come to the U.S. illegally in 2021, and on policing in 2020, that abolishing the police, quote, means ending the police, full stop, period, no more police at all, ever. And I know you said you've grown considerably in the years since these tweets. So what's your position now, for example, on how much to abolish the border or when deportation is right?
Yeah, so, as you've noted, I've grown considerably since that, and, I'm not interested in relitigating the politics of my tweets, which are the politics of the past. I'm interested in representing this district.
Politics of the past. Like she was what? Like a toddler in diapers at the time? You just heard her like a rabid anti-Semitic screaming at that rally right after October 7th. That should say it all.